What's up, Snow Tracks viewers? Luke here at the 2021 SkiDoo Dealer Show. We're in Cancun. Life does not suck at the moment. I wanted to bring you guys some information on some, not new models, but significantly updated models for 2021, stuff that you haven't heard from Mark or AJ about yet. I think Mark probably talked a little bit about, if he hasn't, here's the information, that every model in 2021 from SkiDoo is in a G4 chassis, everything. So everything's been updated. As you can see here, we have a Tundra in a G4 chassis, which is pretty cool. Obviously the front end of this sled had to be completely redesigned. So G4 chassis refers mostly to the riding position of the sled. As you can see, you're sitting, really far forward, just like you are on a regular G4 trail sled. But in terms of the similarity of parts, this is, the wide tracks all have different tunnels, and obviously this has to have a completely different bulkhead with the more strut style front suspension, which has also been redesigned. But the sled itself looks like a G4, looks very similar to a G4. So you're all in the same family now, and you get all the same benefits of the G4 in terms of rider positioning and ergonomic comfort and that type of stuff. So here we've got a Tundra. This one's a 600 Ace. Pretty neat looking sled, updated. And over here we have a Skandic. Again, this is a 20 wide Skandic. So with the new 600 EFI. So this is called a Skandic Sport, sort of their entry-level Skandic model in a 20 wide, and it comes with the 600 EFI motor. And I think Mark sort of alluded to this a little bit, but the 600 EFI motor is actually a 600 E-Tech with the E-Tech system removed, the throttle bodies from an 850 and injectors, but it's just injected like EFI, not like direct injected. So we're talking some pretty neat usage of parts, similar parts. What's interesting most of all, though, and was my first concern, is everybody knows that a 550 fan or a 570 fan or whatever is a cheap motor. They've been around forever. In terms of getting their money's worth out of the molds and the parts and that kind of stuff, they've definitely got their money's worth. So it's cheap to produce a 550 fan. I was concerned when I heard about the 600 EFI that all of a sudden prices of these sleds were going to go way through the roof. Anything that was supposed to be cheap, like your Tundra or whatever, your cheaper models, was going to go up. Actually, in the cheap models, the difference between a fan, a 570 fan, and the 600 EFI motor is only $250, and in some cases it's not an upgrade in price at all. That's a good value. If you're the kind of person who is planning on buying a fan, that's a huge, huge value. Now, some of these models, there's one over here. So what we've got here is an Expedition super wide track. This is a 600R E-Tech. You can see in the front it's got auxiliary cooling, an auxiliary front mounted rad and fan. The 600 EFI comes with that as well. So another question I had at the intro was, what do you do when somebody who is used to a fan-cooled sled that doesn't require liquid cooling? What do you do with this motor? There's a lot of people who buy fan-cooled sleds specifically because they don't require liquid cooling, and therefore can be operated in warmer temperatures, or temperatures where there's a lot less snow. Rather, makes a lot more sense. If there's low snow, you don't have to worry about overheating. These sleds do in fact come with auxiliary heating that allow you to run, or auxiliary cooling, that allow you to run them in lower snow environments without worrying about overheating the motor. So that's very smart on SkiDoo's part. They obviously understood exactly the customer that they were after with this product, and I think they nailed it. Over here, this is an Expedition LE 900 Ace. The Expedition obviously has the double A-arm front suspension as opposed to the strut style. I'm going to go over and look at what they call this front end. I can't remember. Let's go look at our little information sheet here. Front suspension, LTS front suspension. It looks pretty cool. I don't know. I think it looks pretty neat. But over here we've got an Expedition LE. And this one here is a 900 Ace. Single seat. They just look so massive with those gigantic tracks. This is a 20 wide as well. Articulated skid. New link accessories here. Neat little link storage box on the back. Gigantic cargo rack. This model here has your high-low transmission. This Skandic here, being the lower end sport model with the 600 EFI, does not have high-low. It also has a standard key, so that if you are out in somewhere where you can't get to a dealer, or your life depends on it, if you lose your DESS cord, you're not in huge trouble. Well, let's go over here and look at this Expedition. This is a 600 RE Tech. This is a super wide track, 24 wide. This one does have the high-low transmission and regular DESS security. This one's obviously built up with all kinds of trick parts. Your massive front bumper. There's like additional headlights. Of course, all your link accessories on the back. There's so much link stuff available right now. It's unreal. But you can see just by the sheer size of this vehicle that it is kind of a do whatever you want to do vehicle. And in the G4 chassis, it really is an update in terms of looks. I think it's a really nice looking sled. Certainly ergonomics, and I think handling is going to be an upgrade. So there you go. That's some of the new utility stuff from SkiDoo for 2021. A lot of good thoughts gone into these products, a lot of smart moves here. And it's nice to see that when SkiDoo updates their product lines, they don't leave anybody out. They didn't leave out the utility / sport utility customer. So there you go. Hopefully we'll have more for you guys from this event. Some stuff maybe you haven't seen from either Mark or AJ at their intros, and stay tuned. Thanks, guys.